Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be showing you how I restored my outdoor patio table so it can look like this, literally like brand new. I've had this table for 5 years already and I've not done anything to it just because it lasted so long. It's been so good. It's gone through weathering, literally like a lot of rain. The humidity here in Texas is insane. So it's lasted a really long time and I am super satisfied with this purchase. So I got this from Wayfair. I'll link it in the description box. And like I mentioned, I've had it for 5 years and I've never done anything because I've never really ever had to. The only thing I've done is maybe like restore the wooden legs, and I'll show you just that in a minute. With the weather and rain, sun, humidity, etc., it can lose color, and of course you have to restore that. And it is super easy to do because it is not real wood, but it's easy to restore. And then I thought that maybe the top part was a little bit more difficult and challenging to restore, but I found out that it's not. So all I did was bought some paint from Home Depot, and you can use a roller brush, which is what I used, and also a hand brush. And I used the hand brush just because this is Fox concrete, so it does have some texture and some like open pores, so you want to make sure you get the paint in there. So that is what I used, and I'll show you guys the brand and everything, exactly what I got, the color, and how I did it. So let me show you guys the bottom part. This was done on a separate day, so I went ahead and just sanded everything, and I used 2 different sanding grids, and then you just gotta make sure you dust everything off and it is completely clean before you start staining. And I did use a wood stain, not paint. And then for this top part I did use paint, and I'll share with you guys the color and everything in just a sec. So this is the complete finished look, and I am extremely happy of how it turned out. And I can finally say that we are ready for the pool season. Summer's around the corner, and so we are ready to spend the nice hot summer days outdoor. Can't get my camera to focus. I don't know why it keeps doing that, but here it is. So I'm going to show you guys a really close look here. This is the after, and then I'll show you guys the before and take you step by step of how I got this final look. Here's the before. Of course, I never painted this before. This is just how I received it when I purchased it 5 years ago. Now, I do wash it often, especially because we spend a lot of time in the backyard. So I often washed it with just dish soap, but we never covered it or protected it from weather. So this is the paint I'm going to be using, and I'm going to be using a brush and a roller for a smooth finish. It is recommended to use a roller. Make sure you purchase one that is for smooth finish. And the brush, I'm just using it because it is Fox concrete and it has a lot of open pores, and you want to make sure you fill up everything with paint. You want to make sure you start with a clean and dry surface area before you start applying any paint. I'm going to start with a roller, and then I'm just going to use the brush to fill in those open pores like I mentioned earlier. And then make sure you go over it with the roller one more time, because if not, you're going to see the brush streaks, which is what I don't want. So here's one half that hasn't been done, and this is the other half with 1 coat, and I do plan on doing 2 coats. So I'm going to let one side, or actually the whole entire thing, before I apply the second coat. Make sure it's completely dry before you apply the second coat. Here I was just pausing so I can show you the difference of what it looks like. And if you plan on wiping and cleaning this down, you might want to go with an eggshell. Eggshell finish is recommended if you want to clean it and wipe it down. It's just going to be much easier. So this is why, even though I didn't want any shine, I wanted a very matte finish. It's really difficult to achieve that look because once you go with a matte finish, you're not going to be able to wipe it down or wash it down if it does get dirty. And it is a very light color, so it's definitely going to get dirty. We are outside. It's a patio table. We eat here often. Kids are always snacking after the pool, so for sure it will get dirty. So if you go with eggshell finish, it's not a whole lot of shine. I think it's like really nice, actually. I was kind of afraid it would be too shiny, but I think it's perfect. After it dried completely, I thought it was really nice. So that's what I did here, and I'm just going to finish the other half with, again, the roller, and then just use the brush as needed to fill in those pores. And I'm just going to go ahead and finish this side, and then we'll move on to the sides. So once you complete painting the sides with the brush and doing any touch-ups on top, you want to go over for the last finish with your roller. You want to make sure you keep the same stroke so you can have a smooth finish. And here is the complete look. This is actually after the second coat. I did allow the first coat to dry for maybe 30 to 45 minutes. It dried up really quick. I added a second coat really quickly and it looks like it's completely dry now once again. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put all the chairs back in place and add my decorative pot. Let me show you guys the finished look. The camera doesn't really justify how well this project came out, but it is a very nice smooth finish and I love the way it turned out. So this bottom part here was done on a different day, but I'm going to share with you guys how I got it done. So for the wood part, you do want to make sure you sand it down before you start staining it, and you want to use a stain, not a paint color. And so I purchased two different sandpapers. I purchased a medium one to strip down all the old stain, and then you want to make sure you dust everything off, and then go in with the second sandpaper, which is the 220, which is very fine, to smooth everything out and just prepare it for staining. And this is the color shade that I went with, but there's so many to choose from. I wanted something a little bit warmer, and this one here really caught my eye. So I'll be leaving the name and the brand in the description box so you guys can purchase it if you guys end up liking the result and want to end up using the same one. But you want to use a paintbrush and you want to make sure that the surface is completely dry and clean. It is best to clean it after you sand it with maybe like a tablecloth or like an old rag. Just make sure it's damp so it can kind of just absorb all of the loose dust. After you sand it, it's going to be super dusty. And then with the paintbrush, you just want to follow the wood grain. So in some areas it is horizontal or vertical, whatever it is, you just want to make sure you follow the wood grain. And you can add a second coat. I actually didn't because I feel like the first coat kind of just covered everything. I did get a little hungry, so I had to stop and make myself a yogurt parfait and just take a little break because it was a lot of work. Even though the sun wasn't hitting me, but it was like really humid and warm outside, so I needed that little break. And so once I ended up with my yogurt parfait, I completed the rest of the table legs. I removed this plastic that I had added at the bottom to protect my carpet, my rug or whatever, even though it's a little old and faded and I really need a new one, but I didn't want to stain it with the stain. So I don't plan on replacing the rug anytime soon. So I just really wanted to save it from getting stained. And so that is a complete look. I am completely done with it. Once again, this is for the bottom part of the table. It is really easy to do and I really enjoyed it, and I can't wait to start spending more time in the backyard, especially around the pool area. And I love hosting, so with summer around the corner, we love having family and friends over. And I can say that my patio furniture is completely ready and inviting now. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I'll be more than happy to answer them down in the comments below. Otherwise, everything is linked in the description box. And I'll see you guys on the next one.